Okay, I stepped back from the drawing for a little while, and I noticed that I don't like the distance from here to here. And this is too high compared to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop this breast shadow. And so I'm slowly but surely putting together the pieces of my cast puzzle. Because that's what it is. It's a cast puzzle. And let me... We're going to be done with shading soon, and then we're going to get into the refine part of this DVD, which is kind of going to be the longest part, because that's where I'm really going to be rendering out. And first things first, I just want to make sure that I like this. And what is lighter, the underplane of the breast or this? Well, right now this is catching a little bit more light, so I have it the opposite. I don't know what I'm going to do. But for now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to block it all in one more time, and I'll come back with my eraser in a little bit and pull out. Yeah, this just needs to all be lower. Okay. So again, the beauty of building up. The beauty of building up is if you make a mistake, you can easily fix it. Now that looks completely different than the rest of the drawing, so I'm going to have to go in with my brush and my eraser. And you can see that I'm just trying to blend this whole area in together. So that's something that I'm really going to have to smooth out. And this is not white. It's turning into the shadow. So we just want to make sure that we tone that down a little bit. Yeah. So I think now everything is kind of starting to feel a little bit better for me in terms of how I like this thing looking or how I don't like it looking. So before I go any further with the pencil, let's just tap this out. And I do feel that that is better. Now let's go back into this with our eraser. And this is very light over here. I'm barely pressing down on my eraser. So I'm just trying to leave a little bit of that pencil down on the paper. And I'm drawing a lot with my pencil. Okay, let's pull that out with the brush again. And let's work a little bit with a kneaded eraser. You know, both erasers are good and both have their purpose. I just don't want to go too crazy with the eraser. Because then, for what I've mentioned on other DVDs is that you get a layer on the paper. And the pencil doesn't cover that layer of rubber as good as it covers raw pencil. Or raw paper, I meant to say. Okay, so still adjusting this area. I can't believe this area is troubling me so much. It should be very easy. But I'm still kind of doing my measurements as I go. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. I'll take care of it in refine. Let's just block in a little bit more. So again, this breast, I'm going to choose to do the bottom of the breast a little bit darker than this. So I'm going over this with a round motion. And from the center of the breast over, we've got modeling factors. So once you go with the brush and once you commit to blending it like that, well then you're stuck with your choice because everything went soft. So now everything's going to go a little bit slower for me in terms of the whole rendering. Everything's just going to slow down because now it's going to take me at least a couple of hours. to get this thing sharp and to where I want it to look. So yeah, I'm going to drop this breast a little bit. Okay, much better. Yeah, much better. So I'm just adjusting as I go. I just feel that I had the bottom of the breast too high. Still blocking in the tone. So I'm squinting at the statue. This I don't want to go sharp with yet. Little side plane over here. And now I'm going to start to a little convex line. And let's just roll around. I just want to kind of soften this where the light meets the shadow. And I'm going to go back now and just solid this up. Blend it right into the fabric. So once I did that little measurement with the breast, I'm just going back and making sure that I like how everything else is looking. This could be lower. Yeah. Draw a little bit with the eraser. And now what I think I need to do is I just need to make sure that this is right. So I'm going to go a little bit more solid. And I want to make sure that I like this. So here's my navel. Here's this thing. Navel needs to be dropped. And I'm going to drop this. I think I might have this a tad too tall. Not a problem. I can just easily add more background tone and everything just blends. Just making this shadow a little bit more solid, one value darker. Trying not to use too much line. And you want to step back from your drawing a lot at this stage. I'm still, believe it or not, I'm still doing some subtle measurements. I'm probably going to be doing subtle measurements for the entire drawing and changing as I go. I mean, I know that when I've painted little faces for an illustration, the last brush stroke, the face would look good. And that's just the way I work. It doesn't necessarily always happen for me like right in the beginning. Like I just got to torture myself and build up to the likeness. A little convex line rolling in. I don't know how accurate the anatomy is on this cast, so I'm not going to pay attention to that. I'm trying to think of it a little bit more in terms of its primitive form. Now I separated the body from the cast from the background with a line there. So I can just extend that line, the tone of the line out, and it becomes more of a tone and less of that linear stuff. And I just want to go a little bit more solid with all of this, so my shadows match. And if we kind of, before the end of this chapter, let's squint. And we're at a 6th value for our shadow. Kind of. Let's do... It's between a 6 and a 5. So that's where I want it. 5 is where I want it to be. So we're pretty close.